Hello everybody, Greg Solstice here, coming at you today with Starmade, a not particularly well-known but really awesome game that is currently free on the Starmade website, which I'll put a link in the description to. I've actually been playing this game for a couple months. It's absolutely awesome. I really love it. It's fresh like Minecraft, so it's got some of the, that voxel element, which I personally really enjoy, because it allows you, it gives you a limited way to express your creativity unlimitedly, which sounds really stupid. You're stuck with squares, and though there's actually wedges in this game, that's more later. We're gonna ignore that for now. Sure, it's squares, but you can build anything you want, and even more so in Minecraft, you're actually not even constrained by gravity in this case, as long as you build in space. Anyway, the purpose of this video, and what I hope to make a series, is to basically make a starting series. Because when I first got in this game, it was really weird and really hard for me to get started, to figure out what I needed to do and everything else. So we're going to start off today with just the basics when you spawn in the world. Now, if your game's in the default settings, which I expect it is, you're going to start off with 6, if we look at the bottom of my screen now, 6 of these hyperflux coil thrusters, 6 of these weird things that say power, a ship core, a weapons computer, an antimatter cannon, 25 gray holes, and a laser weapon. It shoots and goes pew pew pew. I've turned off the sound. Actually, I turned the sound all the way down to 1 because the sounds in this game get kind of obnoxious fast. Okay, so some basic things. You spawned outside a shop. If you look in the upper right hand corner of my screen, it says shop in range, because there's a shop in range, because you're right next to it. Shops are where you buy things. Do you want to buy something? Cool. Hit B. B opens up this. These are all your categories. You have stuff called general, there's holes, and there's all kinds of stuff. You buy stuff with credits, which are up here in the roughly upper left corner. And there's all kinds of crazy stuff that you can buy it with. You start off, again, default, with 25,000 credits. You have options, of course, as any gamer does. You can simply cobble together a ship and set sail, or you can try and buy some things. I recommend buying a couple things. So let's hit B, and what do you want to buy? Well, first hit ship. You get all these different options. They're really cool and stuff. I would start off with buying, if we scroll down, these things. They're called shield dispensers. These things create, well, they make shields. Shields are separate from your actual hull. Your actual hull has a damage it can take, and the shield can absorb damage, and it recharges. Recharging takes power, which is what you use these blocks down here for, these XD power things. So I buy a couple. You only have 25,000 credits, and here they're about 852 credits each. So we're going to hit buy quantity. How many do we want to buy? Oh, we'll buy 5, which brings us down to 20,000. Right now, this is your first ship. It doesn't have to last too long, sort of. It has to work, but it doesn't have to be crazy. You have 25 of these gray holes. That's great. I suggest sticking with that. You have 6 of these powered modules. I suggest that you scroll all the way back up, click off ship, click general, go down here, pick up some of these things. How much do they cost? 975 credits each, so they're almost 1,000 each. A good way to kind of guesstimate it. Just buy 2 more. These thrusters should be fine, as long as you arrange them properly. And this is all you really need for your first ship. Now, let's go and make your first ship. So, how do you do that? Well, you hit X, and it says new ship. Create a new ship. Please enter the name of your choice. We're going to call this the Solstice Mobile. Mobile? No, Mobile. The Solstice Mobile, because why not, basically. Hit X, and now you have this ship core that's right here. The ship core is how you get in and out of your ship. That is the only way you can get in and out of your ship, as far as I know at least. You always need to make sure that you can access it somehow. So, let's try accessing it. It says enter shore, hit R. In this game, R is your action button, not E, and that's because the controls are WASD, E, and Q, at least when you're just an astronaut, when you're a person right now. Right now, I am a person, an avatar. So it's WASD, E, and Q. Probably should explain that at the beginning, but that just shows how much I played this game that I didn't even think it was important. So how do you want to design your first ship? It's largely up to you, but here's some basic rules. Lines are your friend. Do you see this arrow? Unfortunately, I can't gesticulate towards it. This arrow that's in the upper part of my screen, that's kind of standing still. That's called the direction of your ship, or at least that's the direction of your ship as far as I'm concerned, and the game is concerned. It points forward. When you get into your ship, that's the way you will be facing. Make lines of objects, like these power couplings, in that direction. So make the lines like this, not really like this. That creates the most efficient power because, so on the left-hand side of my screen, you have all these different numbers. You have power and all kinds of crazy stuff. These create power. Now, 1 only makes 140 power per second. 2 makes 238, not quite doubling it, but almost. 3 makes 351, etc. These lines are the most efficient. When you start adding these, it doesn't work so well. Lines are your friend. Now, that said, doing this, making a straight line, is boring. And it leads to a really awkward, clunky ship. So instead, I highly recommend doing 3 on this side, and then 3 on this side. By the way, see how I'm darting around? Like this, instead of like this? That's because I'm holding shift. I really recommend it. It makes going and making ships a lot easier. I suggest you keep one side, by the way, of at least one side of your ship, of your core, visible. I'm actually going to leave 2 sides visible, because that way if my ship tries to fall over, it won't be such a big deal. One of the things to keep in mind with these ships that you're making, they're going to be a little bit unstable. They're going to be really small. They're going to be a little bit weird. So I highly recommend trying to keep them as stable as possible. And therefore I have this giant flat base that my ship can rest on. Now it's time for making thrusters, which are these hyperflux coil thrusters, which I'm just going to call thrusters because hyperflux coil thrusters sounds really stupid, at least when you say it out loud. Thrusters follow the same thing. You chain them up and they make more thrust. However, they're not nearly as dependent on linearity as these power things are. So it's okay if you do this with them, which I'm going to do because it looks kind of cool. Sort of. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it does. So right now I have technically 3 sides of my cube available, which is in a way more than enough. Now you should always use as many of your supplies as you can, just because it's a good idea. There's no reason to leave extra supplies. So I'm just going to add an extra tail here. Oh, my goodness, silly me. There we go. Scroll wheel, by the way, is the quick way to switch between all your different items. But if you want, you can also use the number pad. Okay, now we get to some weird stuff. So before we add our shields, we're going to add this called a weapons computer. We're going to place it just by clicking. By the way, place is left click, remove is right click. Left, yeah, okay. Whew. I'm sorry, I got to make sure I get this right. So if I want to place something, left click, remove, right click. Okay, so that weapons computer controls strictly this antimatter cannon. If I don't have that weapons computer, I can't shoot, because this antimatter cannon, it's your gun. It's the thing you shoot other things with, basically. So these, once again, are affected by linearity. It's good if you place them in lines. Now, they're a weird combination of sort of affected, but not quite as affected by linearity as the thrusters or the block ones are, but I always say it's a good idea to try and keep them in lines as much as possible. Connecting them up gives them more power in general. This kind of configuration does a lot more damage than just a single one. These don't connect across diagonals, they only connect on faces. That's a big thing to keep in mind. My ship looks really weird, by the way. Just throwing that out there, so you can make your ship look however you want it to. It's up to you. Now, this is the one time, actually, I will suggest you don't use all of the materials given to you, because antimatter cannons suck up a lot of energy when you're shooting them, and also it'll give you false confidence. You'll be like, yeah, I've got these antimatter cannons. I can take on that pirate ship. No, you can't. By purposely handicapping yourself, you'll hopefully survive a lot more conflicts. So that leaves the last thing, which is shields. These things are going to give me a little bit of extra protection. I should have bought 6. In fact, I'm going to hit B, scroll down to where ship is, scroll down again, which is going to take forever. I'm sure you can hear my mouse wheel just going nuts, and buy one more, because I like symmetry. You don't have to make your ship symmetrical, but I like to. Shield blocks are completely unaffected by linearity. As long as you have the more ship blocks you have in whatever configuration you want, the better. Okay, so this is how you make your first ship, basically. Now, you can add hull, and I think we will. I got a little bit of time left. So we'll add some hull blocks. We'll add them around here, and we'll add a couple here, and we'll add 2 here. We'll add some here. And unfortunately, this is making my ship look more and more like just a giant cube. I'm trying to strike a balance between practicality and the thing actually looking not stupid. So I'm going to add some here and here and here, kind of here-ish, and I guess we'll put one there and one there and one there. Oh, I don't know. We'll put, oh, and I'm out. So, wow, I'm actually glad it's a little bit linear. So, there we go. I'm a little bit holed up, which means I have some areas that won't just completely get destroyed. So, we're going to hit space. And next episode, we are going to go find somewhere to kind of colonize our first method of finding currency. Because as you can see, we only have 17,974 credits. You want to get a lot more if you actually want to start making cool ships. So, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this has been informative. Stay tuned for the next episode. I'm Greg Solstice, and thanks for watching.